This should already work. Hmm. Hmm. Let's just remove this behavior for now because I don't think I need it anyway. So okay, so this one now passes. Basically, we just want to make sure that the tooltip is not visible when you just open the HTML output file, which is the case. But now we want to make sure it's visible when. Okay, so this simulates overing a given point, and yeah, then we test if it's visible, and then we look for the text inside of it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, is this the actual string that we want to look for? Yeah, it looks like so. I think it's a path, yeah, instead of use. The reason I'm doing this is that in the other example, in the original test here, is we are passing a matplotlib chart, while in the other case it's actually also matplotlib chart, but there is an extra layer with plot9, so the output SVG is slightly different, so we cannot pass it exactly the same way, so we need to make a few changes. Yeah, this might work. This one will probably not work actually. I need to check like how this looks like. And what is the tooltip state? I think it's just, yeah. This one should work. Okay, cool. Works pretty well. Okay. Now, okay, I'll just create a new branch. So I'll git stash, and I'll create a new branch like tests, infra, whatever. I can git stash pop to put back my changes, and init browser base testing with playwright. The A and Q command are just some stuff I wrote for me. Just instead of having to write git add and git commit, I just use those letters instead. And I have the same thing with P. So now I can go to this and open up ER in order to run the CI test infra. I can create a pull request now. And this will basically trigger like a bunch of tests. Okay, cool. And we can say that we already have quite a few changes, but yeah, mostly like fixture and config stuff. New dev dependency. Okay, cool. Let me add a new directory just for JavaScript. In this case, I want to see how I did on this project and what I'm using to run the test. I'm using Bun for this project, but I don't know if I still want to use it actually. Yeah, okay, let's just choose Bun for now. I don't remember how it works. Like blank. What does it do exactly? Oh wow. Fixed. I don't want that. For this, I don't use TypeScript here. For this, and I'll think in test JavaScript, add tests for the plot parser in ninejs. I think it's static. Yeah, static plot parser. Focus on testing, discovering plot elements, find points, find lines, functions. Don't test other things for now. Use Bun to manage depths and test. Update. Let's just do this for now. Okay, this should give us like a good start for testing the parser written in JavaScript here. Hopefully this shouldn't take like that much time, and it should be fairly easy for AI to write that, because the behavior is like very explicit, like I can show you. If I go to this file, basically the main point of this JavaScript class is to find specific elements in the chart. Like for example, I have a find bars function that basically takes an SVG, and for which axis classes we want to find elements. Most of the time there will be only one axis classes, but sometimes we have like facets, so we have multiple axis classes, and we want to make sure like which one gets over effects and those kind of things. So basically here, for example, we're looking for all bars, and in order to find them, just those are like a G element of a specific class, and inside of those there is also G element. The ID starts with poly collection, and then with the path, and this defines how bars are defined in the SVG export from plotline. And then once I find all of those, I add them the bar and the plot element class, so I can more easily work with them instead of having to look for that stuff every time. And basically I do the same thing for points, lines. So a few edge cases when we want to handle groups. Like for example, I need to make sure like does the grouping works with bars too. I'm unsure about that, and looking at the code I would be surprised if this works. So I need to make some tests, run the test and see if it works. And basically the same thing for other stuff, and we set the other element. Well, let's see how AI is doing right now. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, D3 is fine because that's already what we were using under the hood here, so that doesn't make that much of a difference. Okay, nice. While it's doing this, I think we can work on some other tests. Like for example, I'm not sure what is tested here exactly. Like test CSS. It doesn't even test, for example, for adding CSS to a given file. So let's add some tests. I want to make sure, like, because let me show you. People can use a CSS class to add some custom CSS to the plot. Like for example, you can say, hey, I want the tooltip to be this size, so this makes the tooltip bigger. And I want to make sure that this actually adds CSS to the final file. So I'm going to add some text for this. CSS. Yeah, that might be it actually. Then maybe you can just use that example. That works pretty well, I think. Let's import the data too. Let me close a bunch of files because I don't need everything here. Okay. Test adding CSS actually adds CSS. Feels like a good name to me. I don't need that. I don't even need that actually. I'll change the import just to make sure. I just run this interactively. Yeah, I need to run this too. This makes a chart, and then I want to inspect and then I want to make sure like this is actually equals to, and also I want to be able to see like, can I add even more CSS? So let's say now tooltip color, like font weight, let's say it's supposed to be bold. And And now if I look at this should be different. Yeah, exactly. And let's see what AI has done. So, okay, this looks pretty good to me. Discover point Python breaks requested access. Okay, so this basically mimics how the SVG output looks like. And those are just the main. Now I'm supposed to be able to run all of the tests, which includes Python, browser, and JavaScript, all at the same time. Okay, it looks like it works. I want to slightly update stuff here to make things simpler. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do. I don't think I need know how I organize my tests previously. I think I'm just gonna keep the same architecture, like test browser should only run this. Yeah, that's the same. I'll just copy this. I don't care about that. Okay, cool. And then test Python. Let's make it slightly more verbals. Yeah, that should be good. I just need to update this file too. I think that makes sense. Test JavaScript. Okay. Okay, this one should be good. I just rename that file. This doesn't need to punch through. Unit tests. Python tests. JavaScript test. Okay, now we're getting closer to a state where it becomes easier to make some tests across all of the pipeline, which is like Python function behaviors, JavaScript parsing behavior, and the broader behavior, which is kind of the hardest part to test. But now that I have the basics, I can very easily add more tests around it, especially with AI, because now AI will stop doing just a mess, but actually reproduce same kind of tests in general. Okay. So let's just check. Check out just fireworks. Or maybe I have just an example right here. So we work. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, that's already what I have. Okay, and let's go back to my terminal. Add better CI for testing. That's cool. Now let's see the state of this PR so far. Okay, so some tests failed here. Looks like it's only on Python 3.10 for some reason. Let's see if I have another issue with that. Okay. Find points. Find lines. Okay, let's add test for other. Great. Now add tests for find areas. Blind spots are good. I don't think there is find. And find bars. Yeah, I think that's all we need so far. Yeah, okay, that's okay. So it looks like everything's working now. Hopefully it will continue on Windows too. It looks like AI finished adding tests. Okay, that's pretty much how it's supposed to look like. Yes, we got to make sense. It looks for some IDs. Okay. Add some more tests for plot faster, find bars and find areas. Okay, this is getting definitely better. And this takes a lot of time. That's weird. Okay, cool. Okay, so this works pretty well. Now let's look at other tests that I've written in this other project. Okay, contingent when overing different points. Okay, that sounds like a good test to me. Pass. Okay, it's basically doing the same thing. Does that make sense? Over our second point. And then you refer. Okay, that makes sense. I like this test. I think it's a pretty good one. And we should definitely hide it. Def test tooltip changes when offering different element. Okay, I just need to add all of the argument like. Yeah, I can just do that instead. I don't need that. I'll just copy this. Yeah, so this is not a use, it's a path. This will not be first, this will be what was the first point? And how many and if I do this, will it work? And instead of not like weights, and if I do like 10 for example, or let's say 15 instead, just to make sure it actually works. And yeah, I probably did the same thing here. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want this for exactly this specific text. I'm actually unsure what's going to happen here, so let's just run the entire test shoot. Okay, something fell. Just okay, so which one is it? Oh yes, that's normal, actually. I just I can maybe reduce exactly what I'm selecting. Huh. I'm unsure what's going on here. It says it's a timeout error. I wonder if I can just like skip that. Would be surprised if that works, but you never know. In the meantime, let me make sure, like, yeah, right now all of the tests pass, so that's pretty cool. But this one, I'm not sure I understand what's going on. I'll probably just ask AI whatever was going on. Like, if that's going on. Let me just like copy all of that stuff. I don't like that feature. Because the point targeting is physically overlapped by another SVH bus. Event refused to have an element when another one repeats a mouse event instead. Then when you scatter plots where markers overlap. False equal true. Yeah, okay, basically I want to always do that. Okay, now this is just different. Maybe I'm just missing this actually. Just adding some timeline. Okay, so that's not the issue. Whoops. Let's see what the alternative that you mentioned. First is missing. Should be. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, the way I wrote my test is like I assume that it always be output as the exact same SVG, but I mean, yeah, I would expect it to be always the same, but it's not to say other. Um, but would that mean that sometimes this test works? Yeah, I don't think so. So this is hmm. Okay. I mean, as long as it passes. Add more integration tests. Yeah, that's a fine commit message. Okay. Now let's look at all the tests I did previously. Disappear on mass out. Yeah, this looks like a quick win. Let's just add this one too. Okay, and then it's getting easier and easier to add some tests here because I understand more how Playwright works. It only takes the first point, move away from SVG. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, on parameter bar only. Yeah, this is a feature I haven't implemented yet in ninejs, so we cannot really test that specific behavior. I'm gonna go, so I'm adding myself something. Scatter plot renders. What am I exactly testing here? Yeah, oh, another issue that I should open for myself. Internal fit. Add logs to HTML output for easier debugging. Yeah. View feature. And this is really something that AI can be very good at, so test that tooltip disappears when mouse out. Okay, that sounds pretty fair to me. Let's just turn Tokay out of curiosity. Okay. I'll see what AI say about this. How can I add some text for this? Describe conceptually and directions to go. And let's make this a plan. Now let's look at how CI is going so far. Okay, so we have something that failed, which is just prettier. I think that's fine. I don't understand that. Okay, just because I don't want to. Yeah, that's just okay. I don't want to format the generated output, so I'm just gonna add like prettier in your. It's like docs, iframes. Yeah, and then I can run prettier again. Okay, run prettier, right? Okay, now let's look at the plan from AI on testing the set hover effects function. Describe. Okay, SVG fixture. Okay, that's fair. Or tooltip. Okay, whatever. So I'm to limit to the simple tip group. Group. Okay, let's see how that looks in practice. I'm starting to wonder if I still should use Bun, since they've basically rewritten everything in Rust. It feels like kind of an odd move, so I'm unsure, like, does that make the project like not stable anymore? I think it still works pretty well. and I'll probably not update until but I'm sure that the new Rust code actually works. Okay, so let's see what AI is doing on its side. Okay, like big changes. Does not honor pages directly in this environment, but pages them from client X. I'll keep the test helper expressed in page coordinate construct them to match client coordinates and path as to read. I'm not sure I get what AI is saying actually. This feels like a weird wrapper. Like, do we even need a function just for this basic query command? Yeah, pretty the same thing for this. Like, in most cases, it's like a very long line of code, but maybe I'll just refactor this myself. Recipe, so okay, that makes sense. Or maybe before it's done that, I'll just add prior. What's the command again? And this to the recipes so that it basically does everything at once. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, this will go. Okay, I think it's looking pretty good. I'll update the test because I feel like there are stuff that is just too complicated and could be simpler. Like if I could look at selected IDs. Yeah, this is basically the same. It's like I don't understand why even writing a wrapper to this. And then I can remove this. Selected ID. What's this like? Yeah, same thing here. And I also think it makes the code simpler to read, so instead of adding some weird abstraction, like it's easier to understand, like we're working with the nodes and the SVG element instead of adding some. Yeah, I don't know if I need to start that work. That's fine. That's easy to fix, so it doesn't really matter. It's not. Yeah, this one. As Kat is indeed, I think it could make sense. Yeah, then I think everything is fine. Let's just double check again. Status, add JS test for set over effects. Okay, and I think we might be close to merging the PR, assuming you see that tests are passing, which I'm more than unsure. And no, there are some Python fails. Yeah, we'll see. Let's make some room. I want to see like current code coverage. Okay. I have everything installed so far. Okay, it's not that great. I don't want to track those coverage files. So what? Yeah, this isn't tested, but this feels like an easy win, so I'll just write it myself. Yeah, I'll just copy that. Test JavaScript. That's from file. I don't need to test. JavaScript. Or is it like JS from file? Okay. Console.log testing JavaScript. It's like JS form file. JavaScript. I don't need to do that. I can remove it basically. Adding. Okay. Testing JavaScript. Testing. Adding JavaScript this time. Yeah, I don't even need to add a semicolon. Yeah, this one. Just tests Python. Yeah, that's not the right function. I mean, we are sure it's just not the right stuff. Okay, so what's wrong here? Does that make sense? This one should. What's missing now? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Tests adding JavaScript to plot. Okay. Okay, I feel like tests are passing now, so this is definitely good. Okay, this one is good. That's good. Okay, this looks good to me. This, I don't think we really care about this. I made it just to fix a typing issue, more or less. But yeah, I think it's just I just let the user handle that issue. It's like a simple one. I'll keep that in case. Yeah, that's good too. Test interaction, this is good too. Yeah, those are just testing with JavaScript. Yeah, adding CSS, actually add CSS, that makes sense. This is what we just wrote. Yeah, that's fine for me. Yeah, it's just a renaming a file. That's fine for me too. Do I track the UV log file? I think I'll just add it actually. Track, git track, UV log. Yeah, that's fine for me too. This is just like dev dependency, so that's fine. And it's just a configuration of PyTest. Okay, that's pretty cool. Looks good to me. Okay, now I have some fails. And I feel like those fails are inconsistent, like it's not the first one. Oh, I had this issue before. How did I fix them? Yeah, this is new, this isn't like... I'm looking at the history of my chat with Codec because I think I already had this issue before, and yeah, maybe it was with ChatGPT actually. Huh. Let me check. How do I look for something specific? I can search. Okay, here it is. CI or GitHub Actions. Fail on Windows in my CI. The thing is that I feel like I already did this, so oops, should be fine. Trying to fix Windows fail on CI. Okay, let's just push that and see what happens next. Okay, go. Now all of the test of the CI is happy, and yeah, I think I can just merge this test for Python, JS, and browser. The branch should be adjusted its branch. I'll go back to main to pull the latest changes. Okay. Okay folks, hope you enjoyed this video, that it gave you some idea of how I can work with on some open source stuff, like very early stage projects, how I use AI to write my test, how do I make sure I'm actually testing what I want to test. On like a very specific niche project that is kind of weird because it's a mix of Python, JavaScript, and some browser stuff. So see you next time folks, bye.